What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, just saw a recent interview done by legendary 8 Division World Champion, iconic Filipino superstar boxer, Manny Pacquiao, ahead of his highly anticipated showdown between himself and undefeated, unified WBC IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be top 3 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, and Errol Spence Jr. So, with that said, Manny Pacquiao, I feel like, is he overlooking Errol Spence Jr.? August 21st, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena. Is he overlooking Errol Spence Jr.? Because Manny Pacquiao, he states in this interview, his recent interview done, and Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao, he states that we know that Keith Thurman is Keith Thurman, former unified welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who they fought, Keith Thurman and Manny Pacquiao, they fought July of 2019, okay? They fought July of 2019, and Manny Pacquiao, he got a split decision victory over Keith Thurman, okay? He got a split decision victory over Keith Thurman. And, he says that Keith Thurman is a much bigger and a much stronger opponent, than, Errol Spence Jr., okay? So which leads me to believe, he's delusional, okay? Keith Thurman stands at 5'7". Keith Thurman stands at 5'7" with 69-inch arm reach. Errol Spence is at 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. Okay, Errol Spence is 2.5 inches taller than Keith Thurman, and Errol Spence has a 3-inch arm reach advantage over Keith Thurman. Okay, so Errol Spence is clearly the bigger guy. Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao says that Errol Spence is, he says that Keith Thurman is more technically sound. He's a better fighter. He's a bigger fighter. He's much stronger than Errol Spence. Well, for one, we know Manny Pacquiao has yet to be in the ring with he's yet to be in the ring with Errol Spence Jr. And physical appearance and just physicality, just from the eye test, you don't have to be in the ring with Errol Spence Jr. or Keith Thurman to know that and to see that Keith Thurman is not as big and as strong as Errol Spence Jr. Okay, Keith Thurman, he was nicknamed at one point in time. His nickname was One Time Thurman. That was his nickname. That was Keith Thurman's nickname. One time, okay? Because he was knocking his opponents out, okay? And Keith Thurman, he stated that, he had an O. He wasn't afraid to let it go. Errol Spence had been trying to get a fight with Keith Thurman for quite some time, and it just never came to fruition, okay? Keith Thurman, he was essentially, he was maneuvering around the Errol Spence fight, okay? He continued to push Errol Spence off, and he continued to say that Errol Spence, he continued to say that Errol Spence, fight was a little distance away, and he stated that, it was his Floyd Mayweather Manny Pacquiao fight, okay? And so with that said, Keith Thurman, he didn't make the fight happen with him and Errol Spence, okay? He had nothing but opportunity, nothing but time to make the fight happen between himself and Errol Spence Jr. And he didn't make it happen. Keith Thurman, ironically enough, he didn't have to have his Errol Spence fight as a Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather fight, because Keith Thurman, he actually fought Manny Pacquiao, okay? He fought Manny Pacquiao, and he lost, split decision. It was a very close fight, okay? Keith Thurman, he fought to a very close fight. He fought a very close fight. So Keith Thurman, he didn't have to savor the Manny Pacquiao fight, the Errol Spence fight, as his Floyd Mayweather Manny Pacquiao moment, okay? Because at the end of the day, it turns out that, he actually fought Manny Pacquiao himself, and he came up short. He fought, he got dropped in the first round, right? In the 10th round, he was badly hurt, spit out his mouthpiece, looked like he was on the verge of getting stopped, and at the end of the day, he fought to a draw. To a split decision victory for Manny Pacquiao, okay? So for Manny Pacquiao to say that Keith Thurman is a bigger, stronger, more skilled boxer than Errol Spence when he hasn't been in the ring with Errol Spence. Part of me believes that this is Manny Pacquiao, posturing, right? And what I mean by posturing, this is Manny Pacquiao poking at Errol Spence, because physically he did a face-off with Keith Thurman. He did a face-off. Now, I've personally been next to Keith Thurman. I've personally been next to Errol Spence. And it's abundantly clear Errol Spence is noticeably bigger than Keith Thurman, okay? It's not even close. Errol Spence is definitely the bigger guy, okay? Errol Spence is very technically sound. Errol Spence has shown that, he has the ability to be very versatile. We haven't seen Keith Thurman be very versatile, okay? We know Keith Thurman to be Keith Thurman. He's a slick, mobile boxer. That's what he is. He's a pure boxer. Errol Spence has shown us he could be a pure boxer like he did against 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer Mikey Garcia. And he's shown, that he can be a brawler when he fought 2-time welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, Showtime Shawn Porter. He's shown that he could mix it up when he fought then IBF welterweight world champion, British superstar boxer Kell Brook for his first title opportunity in the UK in hostile environment, and he get the stoppage victory. We saw him fight against, Danny Garcia in his last fight, who's a 2-division world champion, former unified welterweight world champion, superstar boxer. And we saw him, outbox and just out-slick and outduel Danny Garcia, who's a superstar. These guys, Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia, Kell Brook. Kell Brook in the UK, he'll be a Hall of Famer. Shawn Porter, Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia, they're all Hall of Famers overall, universally, okay? So with that said, I truly, truly believe, that, Errol Spence is being overlooked. I believe that Freddie Roach, Hall of Fame trainer, well-renowned trainer, longtime trainer Manny Pacquiao, I believe that they're overlooking Errol Spence Jr., and that's a grave mistake on their part. Okay, but I truly believe that they're overlooking Errol Spence Jr. We know that when Errol Spence fought Danny Garcia, we saw that Manny Pacquiao and his team, they congratulated Errol Spence. And then they stated that they see flaws in Errol Spence. They see that Errol Spence is slow. He's not the same guy he was before he suffered that horrific car accident October 10th, just 12 days after unifying the title against Shawn Porter, September 28th, okay? So they stating that, he's just not the same guy, okay? He don't have the same skill set. He don't have the same athletic mobility. He's slower. This is what they're saying. And I think it's a grave mistake on their part, okay? I believe that's a huge mistake on their part. Okay, and then we look at Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia, he also stated that he saw something in Errol Spence that he can exploit, that he could capitalize on. Okay, that's what Mikey Garcia said. Mikey Garcia said, "I see something in Errol Spence. I believe that I can capitalize on." Okay. And I could be victorious. And Mikey Garcia, he even stated that he saw a lot of himself in Errol Spence Jr., okay? And we know how that played out. Errol Spence won every single round, essentially, against Mikey Garcia, just like he did against Danny Garcia. Now, Danny Garcia, he said he uttered the same sentiments. Danny Garcia, after Errol Spence beat Shawn Porter, Danny Garcia, he said, I see something in Errol Spence that I can exploit. He gets hit a lot. And Danny Garcia has a lot of power, sit down on his punches. So he said, now I feel like I can exploit Errol Spence Jr. as well. I have the necessary skill set. He can't take my power because Shawn Porter is not the biggest puncher in the sport of boxing. So he stated he can't take my power. And Danny Garcia was in the ring with Shawn Porter. So he, attests to his fight with Shawn Porter. And he said to himself, if I hit Errol Spence with the same punches that Shawn Porter did, I'm going to stop him. We see how that played out. Now, Manny Pacquiao, 39 knockouts in his career. So he knows a little something or two about knocking his opponents out. But I think that they're grossly underestimating Errol Spence Jr. And August 21st, I believe that is going to show. Okay? I truly, truly believe that is going to show. I believe that, Errol Spence Jr. is going to be victorious in this fight. It's going to be epic. Legacy fight. Can't wait. But that's all I got for y'all, man. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications.
This is Amanda, the real deal Serrano, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.